Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to film the mid-year book Freakout tag, which is one of my favorite videos to film. One of the two videos that I film every single year, apart from the favorite books of the year. And I'm trying to make this very, very short. I don't like filming as much as other people do. So, without further ado, let's get into the first question, which is, what's your favorite book that you've read so far this year? I have had five stars so far. My opinion on which one is the best might change by the end of the year. I might have like a very different number one book, or maybe I will not rank them at all. Who knows? But right now, my favorite book is We Used to Live Here by Marcus Klewer. And I read this in January, so it's so funny that I reached such an amazing book so early on in the year. But this book is the scariest book I have ever read. I was scared to sleep at night. And for that reason, it's the best one, because what other book has made me feel those feelings? In my opinion, a great book is a book that makes you feel feelings you've never felt before. That's how I felt with A Little Life. These are the same types of feelings I'm feeling with We Used to Live Here. I've never been scared from a book ever, but now I have. It's about this lesbian couple who moves into a house that's in the middle of nowhere, and one day, when only one of them is in the house, a family comes and knocks on their door, and they say that they used to live here. That's why the book is called We Used to Live Here. And they want to tour the house because they have a lot of nostalgia for the place. And they go in and they don't leave. Chaos ensues. It's so good. I was consumed by this book, and I think you will too if you read it. The next question is favorite sequel, and I did not read a single sequel this year, but I will read one later on in the year. And there's a question that talks about that. The next question is new release you haven't read yet but want to, and I have the physical copy for that. Wait, let me grab it. My most anticipated release is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I have a very interesting history with V.E. Schwab. I read Vicious, didn't like it. I think I gave it 3 stars back when I still gave ratings. I tried the archived, DNF'd it. I don't know if I read anything else. I don't have a lot of interest in her work. Some people read all her books. I'm not that kind of person, but I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue in 2020 and fell madly, deeply in love. And I gave it 5 stars. It was my favorite books of the year in 2020. But ever since then, I have not read another book by her, so it's been kind of a hiatus. But now I'm gonna make a return and read this book because it's also a lesbian book. It has lesbian vampires. However, I have heard that it's not as good as Addie LaRue, but a lot of straight women read lesbian books and think they're not good. And I don't believe those opinions. It was the same with another book I read this year. Jack Edwards gave it 3 stars, and I was like, Jack, you're straight. You will never understand the gay experience, I'm sorry. So yeah, maybe it will be amazing, and all the straight people are wrong, like they usually are. The next question is most anticipated release, and I did put 2, but one of them does shine above the other one, I guess. And the first one I'm going to talk about is We Love You, Bunny by Mona Awad. So again, with Bunny, I had a very interesting journey. A lot of people either love it or hate it. I read it in 2021 through audiobook, and I was okay about it, but I read it for the first time physically on vacation, actually. It was a great experience, and I loved it this time around. I didn't give it 5 stars. I mean, I don't really rate books, but whatever. But I did really enjoy it, and I think the audiobook is the wrong way to consume this because it's a very big brain book, and you need to pay attention to everything that's happening. And when you're listening to an audiobook, you're not able to do that 100%. And I was also listening to this during final season of my freshman year of college. Do not recommend. And I was listening to it going to and from classes. So I was listening to it for 5 minutes at a time, pausing it, and then 45 minutes later, reading 5 more minutes, pausing it. That's a terrible way to read this masterpiece. This is a piece of work that you need to really dedicate time for. Read 100 pages at a time. Do not let yourself get distracted, because that's how you enjoy this. That's how you understand this. And so I'm very excited, and I'm not gonna read it through audiobook, the sequel. And the other book I'm excited about is Trying by Chloe Caldwell. I read Women by Chloe Caldwell last year and loved it. I have read one more book by her, I'll Tell You in Person. I did not like that as much, and that was nonfiction. And Trying is also nonfiction, but it's more her recent self rather than her past self. I'll Tell You in Person is a very old work by her. And I know Trying is going to talk about her queerness a lot, but it's also going to talk about her trying to get pregnant. So it's going to be a very interesting memoir, and I'm excited about it. Like, of course I'll read it, because at this point I'll read anything by her. Also, I found out she may or may not have a sequel for Women. And I'm excited about that as well. Biggest disappointment, I have 2, because of course I have 2. The first one is Vanishing World by Sayaka Murata. If you may or may not know, Earthlings was one of my favorite books of 2021, and it's very, 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 very weird. I reread Convenience Store Woman because I had tried reading it in early 2022, again through audiobook, DNF'd it. Tried again, the ebook this time. I did finish it this time. I didn't love it as much as Earthlings, but it was pretty good. And again, don't read books on audiobook sometimes. Sometimes you have to try the words on the page. But Vanishing World was just too weird for me. Just because something is weird doesn't mean it's good. And for Earthlings, the weird equals good translated very well. But for Vanishing World, it did not. So I do not really recommend this book. If you love Sayaka Murata, just stay with everything you've already read so far. Don't need to expand. And then the other disappointment I had was Ordinary Love. Oh, I don't remember the author at all. I know she writes other books like fantasy, but Ordinary Love, I wrote a scathing review for it on Goodreads, and I'm actually gonna read it out because it's actually very funny. Okay, so the author is Marie Rutkowski, and this is my review. This book is about a girl who good luck babes herself so hard it takes her 14 years to un-good luck babe herself. She makes a lot of mistakes / wrong decisions and spends most of the book being a typical Enneagram type 9, aka a wet blanket, for her piece of feces, gaslighter, manipulator, cishet husband. She's bisexual, but not culturally queer. A lot of internalized homophobia. So many of us work to unlearn as soon as we come out. She only starts to unlearn at 32, more than a decade after she discovers her sexuality. And I know that all of this is a product of a patriarchal and heteronormative world, but also do better, because so many of us are able to. Again, I told you it's scathing. Anyway, because of these reasons, this was kind of painful to read. It's also a second chance romance, something my Capricorn and Aquarius stelliums do not like. Yes, I am a Capricorn and Aquarius stellium. I never work it out on the remix with anyone, but that's because I don't fumble people. And the main character does. Multiple times. In conclusion, thank God I'm a lesbian and I will never wake up next to him in the middle of the night with my head in my hands because I'm nothing more than his wife. And that's my review. The next question is biggest surprise, and I have 3 books to share. The first one is Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy, and I read this book entirely at the airport because it's very short. And the reason why it's a surprise is because I almost DNF'd it. But I pushed through because I read some reviews that said push through, and I did, and I loved it. It's a horror book. It's about this guy that's stuck at a bathroom at a convenience store / the gas station shop. Oh, it's crazy. It's so crazy. The other book is Several People Are Typing by Calvin Kasulke. And once again, I DNF'd this book in 2023. And I gave it a second chance this year. And I loved it. I love this character development. This one is about this guy who works at an office in New York City. And one day he gets stuck in Slack. His consciousness is in Slack. And his body is just a corpse. Not for long. And I loved it. And I have used Slack before, so it was so funny to see people using Slack. But I've not used it in a work setting. I've used it in a school club setting, so it's pretty different, but also similar. And the other book, which is also the book that Jack Edwards didn't like, was Idlewild by James Frankie Thomas. Oh my god, I almost forgot the name of the author. This book is very gay, which is why Jack Edwards didn't like it. It's for gay people. And because I'm gay, I loved it. So it's about these two best friends. One of them is a butch lesbian. One of them doesn't know what they are. But as the book progresses, you will slowly find out with them. For now, she is a cis girl who is obsessed with gay men. And they're in high school, and they're very obsessed with theater and fandoms. And this book also takes place during 9/11 in the beginning. So 9/11 is the origin of their friendship, and you see them through junior and senior year and how that friendship progresses and how things slowly fall apart in the end, but I'm not gonna say how. It's really good. I read the audiobook, highly recommend the audiobook for this one. Really, really good. The other question is favorite author, and my favorite author this year, but I think in general in life now is gonna be Anna Dorn, because I read Exalted this year. And I gave it 5 stars because Anna Dorn can do no wrong. Last year I read Perfume and Pain. This year I read Exalted. She's gonna write another book or release another book next year called American Spirits. So excited about that. And I'm also gonna read Vagabond sometime before that happens. The way she writes is very magnetic. She creates characters that are so distinct and so memorable. Like, you have an image of how they look like, how they act like immediately in your head. She's also very funny. In a way, only lesbians are funny. A lot of bisexual women who are not in queer community, who do not have girlfriends but have boyfriends instead, try to write sapphic fiction and fail miserably because they cannot truly grasp what it's like to be a lesbian. And part of being a lesbian is having a dark humor, because our life is harder. And because of that, we develop this humor that makes us cope with reality and how it's not in our favor. She's also very talented at writing straight couples and relationships very well, because in Exalted, we have one perspective that's a middle-aged lesbian who's very MILF-coded, and the other perspective is this astrologer in her late 20s who's straight, but you slowly realize she's not. Also, one of the bonuses of this book is that both perspectives are equally interesting, and that usually doesn't happen with books. There's always one that you like more, and then when you reach the other one, you're like, oh, I have to go through this now. But no, not with this book. I was equally invested, and there's a plot twist towards the end that gagged me down, and yeah, of course it was 5 stars. How could it not be? Next question is, who was your crush? And I did not have one because I don't have crushes. Next question is favorite character, and it is Samantha from Bunny. Again, it's a reread, but I still count it towards my reading experiences this year, but not my reading goal because I have already counted it on Goodreads. It makes sense in my brain. There's a lot of theories on why Samantha is the way she is. And now that I have a better grasp at what happened, I can enjoy those theories a lot more. A lot of theories say like she's schizophrenic. And then there's other theories that say, no, we just live in a world where she has abilities other people do not. Go on Reddit. If you've read this book, go on Reddit. Book that made me cry. I did not really cry for a book this year, but I did tear up, I guess. And I teared up at the ending of A Short Stay in Hell. This is a very short book about this concept of, okay, you die, and then you go to hell. You're given a challenge, and you have to complete this challenge in order to progress into paradise or heaven. And the challenge that the main character is given is to find a book that describes his life perfectly in this library of Babel, pretty much. But the problem is there's a lot of books that are just gibberish, or that have only 1 or 2 words that are of the English language. So he has to go through millions and millions, actually not millions, bigger numbers than that, of books to find his life story. It's insane. So yeah, I liked it. Book that made me happy. I really liked the ending, or more precisely the reveal of several people are typing, because there is a reveal that I was not expecting. And I was like, whoa, this is such a nice surprise. I did not know this book was blank, but I'm not going to say what it is. And also Leaving the Station by Jake Maya Arlo. This book is not out yet, but I read it through NetGalley, and this is a very beautiful coming of age story of somebody who goes to college but realizes they do not like the thing they're studying, and they're also discovering their sexuality and their gender. And it's beautiful. It also takes place entirely on a train from New York City to Seattle. And there's also a little romance. It's so beautiful. Most beautiful book you bought? I think I bought 3 books this year. These 2 are probably my favorites, but yeah, I don't buy books that often, guys, because I use the library, I use Libby, I use NetGalley. And the last question is books you need to read by the end of the year. And there's one more book I did not mention that I do want to read, but that's not out yet, and that's Catabases by R.F. Kuang. I love R.F. Kuang, and I'm excited because this book is about these 2 students that are trying to find their professors in hell so that their professors can write them letters of recommendation to get into grad school. And that synopsis had me hooked, because last year I applied to grad school, and now I have gotten in. I am going to grad school this August. Very excited. I'm moving. I'm starting a new life in a new city. So exciting. Again, I have heard some not so good reviews, but sometimes people are wrong. So that's it. That's the mid-year book freakout tag. Thank you so much for watching. And I promise I will do my everything I did in university video. I'm just lazy because that video is a huge undertaking. But I will do it. Maybe I will do it in parts, because just thinking about filming that whole thing on one day, it'd kill me. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.